This is a 2018 Ford Focus RS, and it is the hatchback that Ford stopped making back around 2018, 2019. And today, I'm going to be telling you why it is still the best hot hatchback you can buy out of this, the Civic Type R, and the Golf R. I'm Aiden, and you're watching Gaudin X. Now, over the years, these performance-style hatchbacks have gotten more powerful. The Golf R, for example, now makes 315 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, which is a decent amount for a car that weighs that much, but this is even better. This makes an even 350 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque from a 2.3-liter inline-4, and it's got all-wheel drive, but that's not even the best part. It is only available in a 6-speed manual transmission, a 6-speed manual transmission that I have to say is one of the most fun and interactive transmissions I have ever had the pleasure of using. Now, even though this came out in 2018, it still remains one of the most powerful hot hatchbacks ever produced, and of course, it's just ironic that Ford made it too. Not saying the Golf R is bad, and I love that powertrain, and that car is super fun to drive, and it's really quick if you get the 7-speed DCT. But this one, even though it has the manual and it's never going to be as quick as a 7-speed DCT, I think this one is still more fun to drive. Now let's move on to the exterior and talk about the styling of the Ford Focus RS. This one is finished in Nitrous Blue and has matching brake calipers as well that are also Brembos for additional stopping power. You have 235 tires all the way around paired with some 19-inch rims, and those tires definitely have to be that wide to maintain the grip of this car, especially with 350 pound-feet of torque. Now, some other styling cues that definitely differentiate it compared to a normal Focus, like something like an ST. You have a more aggressive front bumper with this large plastic piece in the middle that says RS, a larger front splitter, and a more aggressive wing in the back. And of course, it looks like it's a little wider compared to a normal Focus as well. Now, at the back of the Ford Focus RS here, of course, you have this wing, like I said, and it says RS in blue on the side. Focus badges, another RS badge back here, because Ford really wants you to know this is their top-of-the-line hatchback. But let's talk about the cargo real quick. Behind the second row seats, you have 23.8 cubic feet of cargo space. It's a lot more practical than something like a sedan Focus, which is something you could have also gotten, but those didn't come in the ST or the RS variant. So plenty of storage space in the back to make it so this performance vehicle is just as practical as any other hatchback on the market. Now, on the inside of the Ford Focus RS, of course, there's a lot going on in here. You have carbon fiber on the door handle right here, and you have it around your little gauge pack on the top of the dashboard too. You have these Recaro bucket seats that have blue stitching, and they say RS in the backrest of them. And of course, like I said, you have the 6-speed manual transmission. And like I said, this thing is so fun to drive with this transmission, and I don't think this car would have been near as fun with an automatic. The steering wheel is also a little different than a normal Ford Focus. Of course, you have the blue stitching all the way around, RS in the bottom spoke, and you have this golf ball style pattern where your hands are for exceptional grip. Some other little practical and technology items in here. You have Sync 3 right here for your infotainment and a Sony audio system, which does sound decent. Dual zone climate control and heated seats too. And you also have a couple drive modes in here. Now, those are really interesting. Of course, you have a normal mode and a sport mode and a track mode, but you also have a drift mode, which changes the torque split. That way it's easier to get this thing sideways. On top of that, one extra performance thing they've also added is the ability to tune the suspension differently and switch the suspension modes. There is a button on the side of the turn signal stalk that allows you to switch it from a normal suspension setup to a sportier suspension setup independently from the drive modes. Now, of course, we have to drive the Ford Focus RS, and it is so fun to drive. If you can hear the exhaust out there, every time you shift, you have those pops and bangs out back. No tune, no aftermarket exhaust system. That's how it sounds stock, and that's why this car is just so fun to drive, because you have those little things that this car offers that other vehicles out there don't have anymore. They don't have manuals anymore. I believe you can still get one in the R, but regardless, this formula of the turbocharged inline-4 hatchback with the 6-speed manual, it's dying. People are more going towards the automatics these days. People are more going towards just having the off-the-line speed, not having so much of the fun, which is what I crave in a car like this. And the Ford Focus RS put it together perfectly. It's such a shame that they don't sell this car here in America anymore. They sell it in Europe as the ST, not the RS. It just uses the standard 2-liter turbocharged inline 4 with a 6-speed manual, but nowhere in the world does the RS exist anymore, and I wish it did, because Ford had nailed down a formula that was perfect. This car makes more power than the current Mustang EcoBoost and uses the same engine to do it, which is crazy to me that they didn't take that power and translate it into the Mustang as well. The Mustang still makes a decent amount of power, but it doesn't make 350 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque like this one does. And that is what I love about it. On top of that, you just have an amazing sounding exhaust system, and you have a car that is exceptionally fast as well, like way faster than it should be. And that speed translates into an experience that's so fun and that you don't get anywhere else. And if you can hear that exhaust out back, it sounds great. Take a listen to what it sounds like. Something like that sit in your driveway, you get to go have fun in that every single day. It's just a dream come true, and I think there's tons of car enthusiasts out there who think that the formula that the Ford Focus offers is just something unmatched and unparalleled today by any of the cars you can get. It's also pretty quick, and it's got that drift mode. Now, since it's not my vehicle, I'm not gonna initiate drift mode because I don't want to run it into anything here, but just a straight line acceleration. It even has a little RS light that flashes on the screen when it's time to shift around when you hit 6,000 RPMs. Super cool. And anyone can get used to this shifter. If you're new to manual and you want to learn it and you want to get a car that you can learn in and also have tons of fun in, this car's transmission is beyond forgiving. And you can use it in so many situations. It's such a fun transmission to drive. I'll give it one last piece of acceleration. The fact that it sounds like that, it's so hypnotic to drive a car that sounds like that. And it's an inline 4. The 2.3 liter has never necessarily sounded bad, but you just don't get that anymore. And that's what I love about this car. Now, a good thing is if you were the person who first bought one of these and now is trying to resell it on the second market, you're actually probably going to make money because they started at $42,000 in 2018. Of course, this one has some options, but still, if you only bought yours for $42,000, you could probably sell it for $45,000 because this one is selling for $48,000, which has to be the craziest thing ever. It's because of a multitude of factors. Of course, they don't make these anymore. They make tons of power and they're super fun to drive, but it's really cool to see that these ones have appreciated of all cars out there. But yes, I think this is the best hatchback that you can still buy today, even though this one is 5 years old. Tons of power, modern technology, and let's be honest, it's got to be the best looking one on the market. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button down below, and if you want to see more from us, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.